covered a number of retail thefts in San Francisco, but this evening a Walgreens employee has been arrested after police say he stabbed a man suspected of shoplifting. So a 24-hour live street cam from San Francisco Bay Times captured this entire confrontation. This happened just after 4:30 this morning outside the store at the intersection of Castro and 18th.
Once again, we are talking about retail theft in the city of San Francisco. However, this time there has been an arrest made. Somebody is being held accountable. And of course, the person being held accountable is a Walgreens employee who decided to fight back against the criminal who comes into their location time and time again in order to steal things from the store. Greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Sean, and today we're going to talk about a store employee who works at a 24-hour Walgreens that is often shoplifted from time and time again, who finally had enough, who finally decided to step to one of these criminals, and now, unfortunately, because of the way he acted, which, by the way, was in fact criminally, if what is being alleged is true, he is facing serious charges, which, again, sounds like the first time ever in the city of San Francisco somebody is facing criminal charges for something related to shoplifting, so unsurprisingly, these charges are being leveled against a person who tried to stop said shoplifting. Now, we're going to break this down. We're going to talk about this. I'm actually going to explain why you shouldn't do what the employee did in this particular case. But before we do, I want to thank everybody who supports this channel via actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money. Okay?
So, of course, this area of San Francisco is an area that we talked about time and time again. Walgreens is a store that we talked about time and time again, specifically in the context of the city of San Francisco. And unsurprisingly, we're in an area that is rife with drug abuse, mental health problems, homeless people, and theft. And this particular 24-hour Walgreens has suffered the consequences of all of those policies. And I understand why the store employee, who, by the way, is literally watching his livelihood walk out of the door, because after these stores get stolen from time and time again, we've seen that this results in these store closures, all these employees being fired. Some of them maybe get transferred to other locations, but it's happened so many times. Obviously, the Walgreens doesn't have a central location to send all of these employees, so I get the frustration. But as you could see a little bit, and I'm gonna have to redact some of this video, even though it's not graphic, and even though the homeless person, by the way, appears to be perfectly fine with non-life threatening injuries, this guy pursues the person with the security guard, and of course he ends up getting into this altercation, pulls a knife, which again may be understandable to take out a weapon in order to defend yourself, but make no mistake about it, he is pursuing this homeless person, and thus the criminal charges do make sense.
2 people have been charged with crimes after police say a shoplifting attempt at this Walgreens here in the Castro led to a stabbing outside the store.
And I feel really bad after seeing what I just saw.
Chris Murray often goes to this Walgreens. We showed him the surveillance video of what happened outside the store overnight. He was shocked.
I'm pretty surprised to see him do something like that. But like I said, these people deal with this every single night.
A camera caught the moment police say 45-year-old Guang Hong stabbed 30-year-old Larry Whitlock. Chris told us he recognized Hong in the video.
So a couple of things that I find notable about this particular news segment. One, you have the guy who works there who is completely unsurprised by these actions. In fact, the only thing that did surprise him is that this particular store employee is the one who engaged in it, but obviously he is well aware that this place is targeted time and time again for retail theft. In addition to that, I will also point out that there's a homeless person camped right in front of this store that you could see in the shot in front of the store right away, because the city of San Francisco has not fixed the general disarray that it happens to be in. Also, I want to point out that this particular shop worker is waving around the knife like this, doing some kind of ninja move, and I have a little bit of respect for his knife capabilities, and I understand why he would draw this weapon as a deterrent, but unfortunately, in this particular case, he appears to have brought a knife to what is expected to be maybe a hand-to-hand fight, and even though I'm not under the belief that you owe criminals that steal from you a fair one-on-one karate battle, the fact of the matter is we cannot have these people pursuing, as a matter of law, these kind of petty thieves with deadly weapons. Again, this is like a basic tenet of American law. The idea is that a man's life is worth more than a candy bar, so if somebody is stealing without actually fighting you physically, you cannot shoot them or use deadly force against them. And I know people are going to say that enough is enough. These criminals are ruining society, and that is 100% true. These criminals should be be held accountable for their actions. Make no mistake about it. The laws in California are the problem. The people of San Francisco and their police force not enforcing retail theft is the main driving factor right here, but that does not license you, however understandable it may be, to engage in these kind of actions, because guess what? This guy's gonna face the serious consequences of it. The guy that stole right here, the repeat offender who's probably been arrested 1,000,000 times for these particular crimes, he's still gonna get a slap on the wrist. He might get a little bit of an escalated assault charge, but what actually is gonna go down is this regular, average, everyday, non-criminal citizen is going to be fired from his job. He's going to be arrested. He's going to be charged. By the way, he's already charged with assault with a deadly weapon, and he will likely serve some serious time for his actions and become unemployable in the future. And guess what? That guy will go back to stealing from the very next employees at the Walgreens that we see right here.
He's seen him working behind the counter at the store many times. According to police, Hong stabbed Whitlock around 4:30 Wednesday morning after Whitlock attempted to steal several items from the store. The two men ran outside into the street along with the store's security guard, where Hong can be seen attacking Whitlock 2 separate times.
Now look, I had to freeze frame the video right there because of the way that YouTube treats violence on my particular channel as compared to other channels with age restrictions and suppressions of the video. But one of the things that is not really being described all that accurately by the local news affiliate is that it appears that we have a threatening gesture and probably threatening words that were thrown in the direction of the shopkeep owner. And if you look at the video carefully, which will be linked in the description, in addition to the threatening words and of course the threatening gestures, he actually threw something at the store employee, possibly and very likely the merchandise, since the store employee ended up picking it up later. So you have somebody who's throwing stuff at the store employee, maximizing the disrespect, and again, the store employee is going to face the major consequences for this, because you can't hurt an innocent Baba Angel homeless person who just wants to steal from your Walgreens and throw merchandise in your face if you dare step to him. But also, in addition to that, you should take note of the fact that the Walgreens employee is walking out next to a uniformed security guard at this particular Walgreens, and the security guard is not intervening at all whatsoever. And we're going to explain that in great detail to everybody out there in the audience. However, if you're a long-term viewer of this channel, if you watched another case of a San Francisco Walgreens involving a thief and, of course, a security guard, you know exactly why the security guard in this particular instance can't do anything except wear the uniform and talk to these criminals.
Kevin Riley often sits outside the Walgreens playing his guitar. He told us he's not at all surprised something like this happened here.
The security guards aren't allowed to touch people because of the shooting that happened on Market Street with the security guards at Walgreens. So that they're unable to touch people and they're not allowed to carry arms.
So right there you have a guy who plays guitar for money outside of this particular Walgreens, and he explains this absolutely perfectly. And by the way, it's important to understand that he's explaining this, somebody who looks homeless himself, which is that security guards in the city of San Francisco cannot in any way, shape, or form touch or engage with these retail thieves. They cannot carry weapons on their person, and this is due to a shooting that occurred in a Walgreens, which guess what? That shooting was the shooting of Banco Brown. Now, we broke down that case multiple different times on this channel because Banco Brown was a thief who ended up getting a lot of attention because Banco Brown identified as a trans is, therefore is above absolutely everything. And in that particular case, the luckily black security guard was charged by Banco Brown after he tried to prevent Banco from actually stealing from that store. And after Banco took the aggressive posture and then moved towards the security guard shot and killed Banco Brown. Now, no charges were filed against the security guard, possibly because that security guard was a black person. If that was a white person, that would have been deemed an instance of evil white racism and transphobia and whatnot. But in that particular case, even though no charges were filed, even though the San Francisco district attorney realized that this was self-defense and they wouldn't even charge it in the state of California, they ended up instituting more and more policies to basically make security guards completely ineffective. So you have have an instance where somebody attacks a security guard or is about to attack a security guard violently, threatening to kill them, and all of that, it's caught on video, you can't make any criminal charges against the security guard for defending himself with deadly force, and they use that as an opportunity to limit what other security guards could do. So in this particular instance, you have a security guard just standing around as the store employee is getting angrier and angrier at a belligerent thief who's trying to steal from this particular store, and it ends up resulting in this absolute disaster where, of course, the store employee is facing the serious criminal charges.
Both Kevin and Chris told us this Walgreens in particular is a frequent target of shoplifters.
We go in there and they don't even try and hide it. They go in with the bag open and just start scooping the aisle into the bag.
Police say Hung was booked into the county jail charged with assault with a deadly weapon. Whitlock was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, where he was cited for battery and petty theft.
Now, look, I understand why a lot of people would be sympathetic to the store employee here. You have to deal with theft time and time again. This guy is probably a repeat offender at this particular location. And, of course, the state is not doing their job. They're derelict in their duty in stopping this individual. But make no mistake about it, the laws that protect this guy who's stealing time and time again are unique to the state of California. But in reality, this guy pursuing this particular thief outside of the store, across the street, and all that is something that would be illegal in all 50 states in the union. Again, you have shopkeeper's privilege, which allows you to detain somebody in a normal functioning state within the store or within the parking lot, the general area that the store is located in. But even in the reddest of reddest states, that does not go beyond the parking lot. You can't just pursue somebody as a regular ass employee and engage with them in a deadly force altercation over a petty theft. So even though I'm very sympathetic to the guy who ended up acting in this way, I understand that he did in fact act inappropriately. And we need to understand the law as it works, not just in the stupid states like the state of California, but across the country. And I'm telling you, each and every state in the union, this guy would have been held accountable for pursuing this particular criminal. But I do want to take note of the fact that they ended up with a physical altercation in the first instance, and then you have the guy who ended up trying to steal from this particular store moving back towards the store rather than just leaving, rather than just taking off. And that is ultimately what ended up leading to the deadly force, or the attempted deadly force altercation, where the guy who worked at this store ended up using the knife in order to slash this individual. Now again, non-life-threatening injuries, that's absolutely crucial, and obviously you can't pursue somebody in this way. And obviously the state of California and the city of San Francisco in particular is not on this individual side, in that the security guard is essentially powerless. Like, you might as well have a scarecrow basically trying to scare off the hobos from stealing from these different locations. But the fact is, people understand that they can't do anything, that the security guards are fake. So this is the result that you're going to get time and time again. And yeah, when you're on the verge of losing your job, when your location is on the verge of closing, you're being pushed towards the edge. And while obviously I have to be objective about the criminal nature of the actions of the particular store employee, if what is alleged and on video is proven to be true, the fact is, I can't tell you guys that this guy acted in the right legally, that this is considered a legitimate form of self-defense, when obviously it is not.
Chris told us he just feels bad for everyone involved.
I feel sympathy for both of them. I feel sorry that people are having such a hard time, that they're having shoplift, and I also feel sorry for the people that have to deal with it on a daily basis. Yeah, I feel sympathy for everyone.
So look, I understand that this guy is a regular, ordinary civilian that's walking his dog, and they decided to interview him because he's in this particular area, but let me be clear about this. I hate this guy. I hate his face. I hate his little sideburns. Okay, maybe I'm going a little bit too hard. I'm just kidding. It's not about his appearance, but I hate that particular take. I do not feel bad for everybody in this particular case. The criminal is stealing because the laws enable him to steal. He might have a mental condition. He might have a drug addiction. He might have some combination of the two. But the fact is, the city of San Francisco needs to address that, and using that as a justification for his theft after the fact is no good. If you want to address mental health, if you want to address poverty, if you want to address homelessness, then you do that before they commit a crime. But the fact is, this guy steals from the store all the time. A bunch of people steal from the store all the time. The employee is fed up. He obviously has to deal with the threat of losing his job. He's going to be put in poverty because of this criminality. So obviously, I feel bad for that guy, the law-abiding citizen who felt like he was pushed to the brink, who ended up committing a crime, a stupid crime that I can't justify at all whatsoever, and I would never never encourage anybody in the audience to participate in, but make no mistake about it, he is the more sympathetic figure in this case, not the innocent Bebe Angel homeless person who was jawing at him, who was trying to steal from the store, who likely would attack him with deadly force had he had a weapon at the time that he was committing this crime. So enough with this both sides nonsense. Enough with this, oh, everybody's a victim and society's the problem. No, the aggressor got aggressed upon a little bit too much in this particular case. I feel bad for the person who has been put on time and time again, not for the homeless person, not for anybody else who commits these crimes, but for the law-abiding citizens who have been completely neutralized, and now suddenly the criminal justice system wants to pursue charges against them. I'm so sick of the weakness that I hear constantly from these everyday people that are interviewed on the news, because guess what? It is that weakness that enables the left wing to pursue these ridiculous pro-criminal policies. No, there's no excuse for criminality. Absolutely not. All of your justifications, all of your reasons, they end at the moment that you decide to break the law, to violate the rules of our society. And I'm holding the store employee accountable to that standard. So for damn sure, I'm going to hold the repeat offender, the thief that actually set this whole thing off, to that standard. And that's how everybody should operate.
Now, police say Hong was not injured during this incident, and while he was arrested, police say this is still an active and ongoing investigation.
So look, obviously I got a little bit angry right there. Obviously I got a little bit heated right there, but to be clear, I want to say something nice in this particular story, and the nice thing that I decided to say is that I like this lady's red hair. It has a nice color. I find it quite appealing. Now again, I'll link the full local news segment in the description of the video. They actually talk about and show footage from the Banco Brown incident that I talked about earlier on in this particular video as the thing that led to basically the neutralization of all security guards in the city of San Francisco. Again, you could check it out for yourself. But of course, I want to know what you guys think about this down in the comments below. Now, as per usual, if you like the video, you show me by leaving a like. You could subscribe for more content. You can follow me on my social medias. You could support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about the absolute craziness of the city of San Francisco. Till next time.